The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, Lee Burkeen, your host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Our guest today is Jeff Palermo, who works with Tiger Rag Magazine, Louisiana Network, has a radio show with the company, also does high school games for YURView during the football season, does a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about games this year, some of the games that they're going to cover for YURView for South Louisiana, if you're watching this, which is New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. I might throw some out there for North Louisiana. I wrote a blog this morning about matchups for North Louisiana, 5A to 1A, some non-district games that are still in my head we can share. But we'll be right back with more of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Lee Burkeen will be right back with Jeff Palermo.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, your host of Sports Scouting Report podcast. I want to thank the Marriott Hotel. Didn't need it this time because Jeff's local, but in the future, coaches stay at the Marriott on College Drive. I want to thank Ralph Ney, the GM, a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. They do a great job. Also, Superior Grill. Who doesn't like Superior Grill Mexican food? Highland Road, Government Street, the original location here. Also in New Orleans, they have a Superior Grill. And soon to be, can't give a date, Lafayette, Louisiana. Jeff Palermo, thanks for joining us, man.
Lee, how you doing?
Busy time for you, busy
Yes.
time for me. If you're in the media, no one sleeps, right?
Especially this time of the
They
year.
think you just do an article, show up, do a TV show, and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's the editing, it's the preparing, it's the getting the interview set
Right.
up. And
Yep.
so what's it like for you between now and then when the season's, well, it started, Jamboree started, but the real season starts this Friday night?
Yeah, it's busy. You know, I take a lot of pride in, especially on Friday nights in our games on YURView, trying to know as much as I possibly can about the two teams, and having that information handy as well. You know, not all of it sticks in the brain the first time through. So it's really it takes a lot. You know, I work at the Louisiana Radio Network, and that's my full-time job, but getting ready for these games and talking with the coaches and just getting everything organized, and then obviously you got game day Friday night. I mean, it's almost another full-time job, and then there's so many people that do things behind the scenes that, you know, it's not just rolling up the truck and turning on a few cameras and powering everything up and it's ready to go. It really is a huge effort to put these games on, and I hope people enjoy them. And I know a lot of schools are streaming and all that kind of stuff, but I still think, you know, having our games on TV, that we bring. I think we bring we bring the game to the viewer another level. I mean, with all the graphics and just all the backstories and so forth, replays and all that kind of stuff.
And y'all do a good job of mixing the cities of Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette.
Right.
Find you a good New Orleans team against a good Lafayette team, a Baton Rouge team against a New Orleans team. Cover two markets, one game. Yeah. It's always good for
Yeah, and we got that with
show.
the season opener in Newman and Hahnville. I know we have Woodlawn versus Lafayette Christian. We're always
Good
looking
mix.
for those type of matchups. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We don't know exactly how the playoffs are going to look at the moment, but I'm looking forward to the regular season, and it's great to kick off the year, really the first kind of normal season we've had since 2019.
We won't know who's in select, non-select till playoff time.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the next meeting is. I think it's got to be coming up September, October, but
play the season out.
Season out, and then, as they like to say, see where the chips fall, right?
And I want to promote this again, and this helps. Actually, Jeff will call me and say, Jeff, and he always say, Lee, I'm going to order a magazine, or can I get one from you, and I'll give you the money, whatever. Well, Jeff gets to get a magazine from us today coming on the show.
It's a great resource.
That's what you get when you're a guest on the show. So he gets his magazine when he leaves. But go to lafootballmagazine.com. If you're watching, if you're a mom or dad from here to Shreveport to North Caddo to Lake Charles, Lafayette, anywhere in the state, we got all the high schools. We even have the MAIS League in here, which a lot of people don't promote, which is like Tallulah Academy, Silliman. Used to be Glenbrook. Now they're 1A with David Feaster, which got to get used to saying that.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so they're playing 2 big-time 1A games this year, Glenbrook, by the way, out of Minden. Speaking of high school football, you can share some games that YURView's doing, that you're going to be doing. And then I'll share some North Louisiana ones right now and get your thoughts. But one that I'm looking at on the small classification is 2A. You have Calvary Baptist week 1 playing Logansport. You got a potential non-select, select, potential both winners there playing each other week 1. Calvary Baptist, Logansport. What do you think?
Oh, that's a great matchup. And that's what I really love about high school football. In college football, you only can put, all these major powers, maybe they'll play just one game against another team from a different conference because they're scared about this, and they got to have all these rent-a-wins. There's no such thing as rent-a-wins in high school football. I mean, there's a lot of schools that really just try to load up their non-district schedule, and it's the phrase, well, you play them whenever and wherever, right? And there's a lot of high school coaches that want to test their players, and a lot of times during the high school football season, your better matchups are really in September because once you get into district play, then you see a separation of talent and so forth. So September sometimes is one of the best months for high school football. I mean, I always love the postseason, but September is really a great month because you get matchups like that because a game like that can only help both teams.
Yeah, and you get to see where you stand. How far you can go in the playoffs, where you are.
Right.
And I love the 1As going against the 4As.
Yeah.
And Class 5A going against 3As.
Right.
And then if one wins, obviously it's not good if the 3A beats the 5A because they're going to hear it all week.
Right.
But it's a good match to say, okay, that 3A school can hang with that 5A power.
Right.
And that 4A power can beat that 5A. Like I said, it's the only time to do that. Neville found very interesting, Jeff, the Neville Tigers out of Monroe. They played 3 games this year in Shreveport, which they've never done. And it's against 2A, 3A, and 4A Shreveport teams. Kind of interested to see how that's going to work out. And it's good programs at Shreveport, but Neville usually goes non-district Monroe teams.
Yeah. Well, and I think for some of these teams, for instance, like locally here, when David Brewerton ended up at Zachary, at first, I mean, whoever he called, they'd play him. And now it's like, I don't know if I really want there's some teams that are a little reluctant about playing it against powerhouses like that. But still, I think it's great for when you get out there, in Neville's case, go out, take that bus ride to Shreveport if that's what you're doing. It only can help your team.
And then we're going to mention some of your YURView games, but before we take a break, and we'll actually lead into it to finish it next segment, Zachary plays John Curtis.
Yeah.
That's a big one. We're going to talk about that when we come back, and then whatever Jeff wants to talk about on YURView. You mentioned Newman-Hahnville. That is a great matchup between small school, big school.
That's our first game.
powerhouse.
Yeah.
Remember, Puka Williams was like the other day with Hahnville, and now you have, and Salter Formaggio is now at Holy Cross, so there's a lot of stuff changing. We'll talk about that when we come back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Hi, everyone. Lee Burkeen, your host. Welcome back to Sports Scouting Report podcast. Jeff Palermo is our guest, Louisiana Network. The same company owns Tiger Rag, and I want to mention this because, hey, works in one of the same buildings, you know, and Preview Magazine. So we did a trade with Jim Inkster, Tiger Rag. I want to mention Jennifer Marsh. We have an ad in here for Tiger Rag in our Preview Magazine to get Tiger Rag Magazine, and then we ran an ad with Tiger Rag's Preview.
Yeah.
And so I know that you don't have anything to do with Tiger Rag itself, but same company.
Right, but it's really the it's the biggest issue for Tiger Rag every year. Keishon Boutte is on the cover, and it's a great cover, and it obviously looks at the quarterback situation, profiles on both guys. Brian Kelly coming down here, a lot of great information on the opponents, breakdown of the Southeastern Conference. So it's really terrific stuff. Great job putting it together. William Weathers and Tim Buckley and Jim Kleinpeter writes for the magazine as well. So a lot of good stuff in there, and it's really something for anyone, for an LSU fan. It's a really good way to kind of read that, and that really gets you ready for the start of the season.
The Bible of LSU sports
right.
in one piece to buy. You see, they have a lot of newsstands. They're in a lot of stores. Some of them you can pick up. I know City Cafe has it in Baton Rouge because I go there and eat sometimes. Yeah. But it's usually empty by the end of the day.
Right.
And then we sell ours on our website. We do one a year. That's the only difference between us and Tiger Rag. I know they do one
every month.
Right. We do one a year for high school, college football. Later in the show, I want to ask you about. I've been going to LSU practice. I'm going to throw my 2 cents out about them and get your thoughts.
All right.
Because I know you do the radio shows too around Kelly and the different coaches for LSU, which I'm going to make one of the Mulkey ones. I just think she's the greatest entertainer in the country as a coach. But getting back to high school football, Neville also plays Evangel Christian, which is a very interesting matchup. I don't think they've ever played. Back in the heyday, it was Evangel Ruston, Evangel West Monroe, but Evangel's going to be playing Neville. Evangel, I want to tell the audience, if you watched them the last 4 years, they were just kind of down on talent. Last year, I watched them, Jeff, against Dutchtown. Josh Boutte was on the sideline. They are so talented. They probably had the best sophomore group I've seen in the state start. And 19 out of 22 starters return. And these are big guys that can move. So they got these guys for 2 more years. And when they start winning again, people are going to go, wow, Evangel's back. Well, if they beat a Neville, that'll get their attention really quick.
Well, that's good to hear because it's been, for people that really love high school football in this state and love the tradition, I mean, you can't tell the history of high school football in Louisiana without talking about all the great teams and great players that have come from Evangel. And for them to be down the last few years, it's something's been missing, right? Yeah. I mean, it's been great to see a team like Calvary Baptist rise to the heights that they have risen to. Yeah. But Evangel, I mean, there's something to be said about that kind of name. It means something in the state of Louisiana when it comes to high school football. So it's great to see that they're back on the rise, and hopefully we see them back in state championships relatively soon.
I'm going to say this. If you're just a mom or dad that don't even get into recruiting, you just want to eat popcorn in a game and a hot dog, and see Jeff go to up to the setup and the whatever you call it, the broadcast booth. you're going to see this team walk out on the field this year, Evangeline, you're going to go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How many games did they win the last 3-4 years? Because they look completely different.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, and their offensive line will go about 260 and average about 6'2" in height.
Yeah.
And they got a guy 6'6", about 280 coming back. That's a young kid, and probably the best defensive end in the country. That's a junior that's been playing a couple of years since his freshman year. The quarterback is Josh Booty's son, and one of the receivers is the twin brother. They're both sons of Josh Booty. YURView games this year. What are some that really intrigue you?
Well, I mentioned Hanville versus Newman, but we also have a lot of really good non-district matchups. Woodlawn versus Lafayette Christian. I think that's an interesting matchup. I'm really excited to see what Lafayette Christian can do in 4A, and I think that's what should happen when you're a small power school like Lafayette Christian. Once you've been dominating for a while, play up. Let's see what you can do, because you obviously got the athletes to do it. University High versus Catholic of Baton Rouge.
That's a good one.
That should be a very good game. Again, another kind of matchup where you have, I want to say U High is a small school, but, a 3A school going up against a 5A school. That's a terrific game. Denham Springs is supposed to be really good this season.
They are.
And so they're heading to St. Thomas More. So that's kind of a unique matchup. One, I don't ever really recall them playing. We have that game this season. We got Westgate. They were – I loved the story of Westgate last season, winning the state championship a year ago. A school that's, has produced some I just mentioned Keishawn Booty. They've produced some talent over the years to finally put it all together at a community school like that, and to see all of New Iberia really rally around them. That game against Carr last season in the semifinals, we had that game. That was one of the best playoff games I've seen. Westgate got out to the lead, and then here comes Carr, and then they held them off at the end. So that was a great game. And so we get to see them against St. Martinville, and St. Martinville should have a really terrific team. So those are some of our matchups that we have this season. We'll dip into the Catholic League. Carr in the Catholic League, that's a major storyline. We got them taking on Holy Cross this year.
That's a good game.
We'll see what, Coach Salta Formaggio really feels good about what he's been able to develop. Some of these coaches, like Daniel Luquette at Hanville, and I could say, for Salta Formaggio at Holy Cross, the last couple of years have just been, if you've been a new coach, it's just been tough with the COVID year, and then last year of Hurricane Ida. And now you finally had a normal offseason, and the normal lead up to a season where you played a scrimmage, you played a jamboree, and I'm interested to see how these programs, how they improve because of that.
I want to comment on the games in the next segment on what Jeff was talking about, to comment on some of the players. I also want to mention Scotlandville goes up to the Battle of the Board in Shreveport. It's their first time to go up to Shreveport to play a nationally ranked team in the Battle on the Border. We'll be right back. We'll talk about LSU too with Jeff before we're done, and just give our 2 cents each of how the season might go. In the first game, quarterback, my opinion, whatever it's worth, who they might start first snap. That's kind of an overrated deal, I believe, the first snap of a game. Because if you don't do well the first 2 series, you're probably going to get benched. We're going to go ahead and come back with more Jeff Palermo. I'm Lieber King. We'll be right back.
Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom-tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage. Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back. Lieber Keene, your host. Our guest is Jeff Palermo with the Louisiana Network. Does a great job with them. Does YURView games during the season. If you're in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, or Lafayette, it's usually the same channel, or kind of the same channel, depending on what city you're in. But YURView, Friday nights.
Friday nights at 7.
7 o'clock, and they'll be at a stadium near you pretty soon. I'll be at a lot of them. I don't know yet. I'm still carving that out as we speak. Actually, tonight, I printed out every game in the state. I know Jeff does this. and I'm marking where I'm going to go every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm just racking my brain. Like, I'm down to 3 each.
Yeah.
But you can't go to every one.
Right.
And then I might record their games, and I won't have to go to those games.
Right.
So I want to mention, just for the viewer, you had mentioned the St. Martinville game against Westgate. I really think that Derek Williams, and in your game you saw this, he played a little running back, remember that in the car game?
Yeah, scored a couple touchdowns.
He's the most talented player I've ever seen come out of Westgate, and that's over Butte. And then Harvey Broussard, the receiver from St. Martinville, he's the biggest gem in the state nobody's talking about at 6'3", 180, and he's the best long jumper in the country in track.
Wow.
Runs a 4.4. They said he's 7 foot tall, length and arms. And Harvey Broussard might be a Tiger, I predict, when it's said and done.
Sounds like a name that should be playing for Harvey Broussard.
Harvey Broussard. So you got Harvey Broussard against Derek Williams on the field because Derek's a safety guarding Harvey Broussard. So you have a delight there.
Yeah.
And you were talking about Catholic and U-High, 2 teams that lost a lot.
Right.
I mean, Emory Jones is at LSU and might start at some point.
Yeah.
Wesley Woodward, several running backs, several receivers. U-High lost a lot, but they both return a lot.
Yeah, they both. You still have one of the Osberries at U-High. Both programs have just done.
Daniel Beal, quarterback, Catholic.
Yeah, both. Daniel Beal's back. But for Catholic High, they just every year they seem to have really solid running backs. Obviously, Shelton Sampson. I think hopefully he could put it together this season. Really have a huge year. I don't think LSU fans recognize how good this kid is. We did his sophomore year, we did a quarterfinal game, I think, when they played Brother Martin. It was either quarterfinal or semi. I can't exactly remember. But he put on a show in that game. Last year he had that finger injury, which kind of held him back. So I saw a few of his highlights from the Jamboree, and he looks like he's ready to have a huge senior season. And so that's obviously good news for the Catholic High Bears.
Ever since Fertitta was at Catholic and Dale Weiners last year, they just seem to bring the next 30 kids up.
No, it's really become a machine at this point, and but still a lot of pressure there on Coach Semino. He won the state championship last year, but it is hard to keep churning that out every year. But especially Gabe Fertitta. During that run there, during his time, I mean, every year that was a pretty special group. And you're right, at the end of Dale Weiners, he probably had some of his better teams there towards the end.
Everybody thought U-High would slip when Mahaffey left for Walker. Me included. I thought he was just that rare coach. But then our other coach stepped up from Opelousas. Their current head coach has done a marvelous job, and the talent's not going down at U-High.
No, it hasn't. And last year, I thought defensively that was one of the better teams that I've seen.
Yeah, played as a group.
As a group. I mean, we did their game against De La Salle in the playoffs, and they just shut down.
It made them look average, and they're good.
Yeah, and De La Salle has a ton of team speed. Ton of team speed on that team, and they just completely smothered them.
You mentioned Lafayette Christian, Jeff. They were in the Jamboree against Zachary High School. Mm-hmm. And I heard that Zachary, it was not even close. No, it was a Jamboree game.
Right.
But the gauge is, that was interesting to see Zachary. I think Zachary, coaches are not going to like me saying this because I'm friends with Zachary coaches, but I think this is Zachary's most talented team ever. I didn't say best team, I said most talented team.
It might be because I don't recall, even those years that they've won state championships, they've had this many Power 5 guys, right? I mean, I can't – the safety, obviously Eli Holstein.
They picked up a D1 DN from Cedar Creek out of Monroe.
Yeah, I don't remember them having this many Power 5 type of guys.
I don't either. I mean, they've always had some good, tough kids.
Good players,
system quarterbacks, but you got Holstein, who is a phenomenal quarterback, not a system guy, and their safeties committed to LSU. They got 3 D linemen that are going to go D1.
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy. I've never remembered Zachary having 1 D lineman.
No.
So they got the receivers again.
Right.
But they actually, it wasn't close. I had some friends go to the Lafayette Christian Jamboree, and they said it was just not close. So that's a gauge for Zachary, considering Lafayette Christian's dominated.
Yeah.
everybody they play. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to get your thoughts on some other teams. I'll give my 2 cents. We hadn't talked about East Ascension locally,
Yeah.
Episcopal, who's lost a lot. We can go on and on and on.
Okay.
We'll come back and talk about some more New Orleans teams. Brother Martin's still good. Jesuit's going to be good again. Newman, we mentioned earlier. A lot of sleeper teams. Carver, a lot of teams. McDonough 35 that we had earlier. We'll be right back.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Welcome back, Lieber Keene, the Sports Scouting Report podcast. I don't want to feel like I'm the pillow guy, but I've got to keep promoting the magazine. I'm pitching it because, hey, mom and dads don't know.
Yeah.
Jeff's going to leave with his today. Go to lafootballmagazine.com. Our preview issue, we do it only once a year. We do a North, a South. Coach Dags took the North copy, so I don't have it on the set anymore. We do a digital. I think Jeff's bought the digital before.
Yeah, certainly have.
lafootballmagazine.com. Continuing high school football, Holy Cross, Salter Formaggio, Jeff, is my sleeper team in the Catholic League. Everybody knows about Edna Carr and Jesuit and Brother Martin and Rommel and Curtis. But Holy Cross had 90% of their team return. 90% all played last year. Their quarterback's going to be a junior. He's got his second year under his belt. They got 2 receivers, D1, that have been offered by LSU. Their O-line's big. Their defensive line, get this, 4 D1 D linemen.
How about that?
All over 6'3", 270 that can move.
Yeah.
And Salt, you get Salt this kind of team. Look what he did at Honda. Look what he did at East Jeff.
Yeah.
Winning the state title. But how does that rank in your mind, thinking of, all right, Jesuits in there, the Carr's in there now, Curtis, Rommel, Brother Martin, and now you got a Holy Cross team, very talented.
It's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the Catholic League. I thought Brother Martin, at one time I thought they were the best team in, I don't know if I want to say in the state, but I thought they were the best team in 5A last year. And then it for whatever. A
lot of talent.
A lot of talent. And then Jesuit just kind of came out of, in a way, nowhere, right? I mean, no one was really predicting that they would win the Division I title or be in the Division I championship game against Catholic High, and they kind of come out of nowhere. So I would imagine those 2 teams, I know they meet, I think, October 7th or something. That's going to be a fantastic game. I'm interested to see what Carr can do. Can they show up every Friday night
and this talent pool,
and play hard-nosed football?
Yeah.
Because they've, in where they were playing before, you can sleepwalk through some of those weeks against the opponents that they were playing once they got into district play. They're not going to be able to do that, even if they play a team like Shaw. I still think Rummel's a little bit away. I was really impressed last year with Curtis. I think Curtis is kind of coming back to the top.
I agree with that.
I think they're last year when we saw them, there was every guy I was calling on my roster, junior, sophomore, junior, and they were really good players. Yeah. So I think they're going to be certainly a contender. So it's going to be fascinating. And then because of the changes with the select and non-select, you're going to have more schools in select, which means a bigger playoff bracket in Division I, which will be
probably now.
Yeah, and these teams now don't have to, especially the Catholic League schools, don't have to worry about playing each other again in the playoffs. I mean, it still happened, but maybe not. Obviously, not as frequent as what we were seeing. So,
and if there's enough teams, maybe an extra game to get there.
Yeah, which I think all those schools would enjoy.
Because right now, let's face it, select, you know this, it's the same ones if it doesn't change. It's St. Aug, it's Jesuit, Curtis, was Rommel's young, now Edna Carr, and you had Byrd, maybe Scotlandville, and a couple other ones. That was it.
Yeah, Catholic High.
And then Catholic High. Now you throw in another maybe 20 schools.
Yeah, who knows?
It changes, maybe 30.
Changes a lot.
You play an extra game. Bird's going to be good again this year. They return Lake Lambert, 3-year starter, who started in the 220 state title game against Catholic.
Yeah.
They're young, though. And I was going to mention this to you, Jeff. I watched a lot of spring practices in North Louisiana. I kind of did that first and then doing the fall south. But Neville's not as good as they were the last 3 years.
Yeah.
West Monroe's not as good as they were the last 3-4 years. And not that they were the old West Monroe. I'm just saying there's an opening there for South for a lot of these 5A teams, 4A teams. Now that Edna Carr moved up, the 4A public side, non-select, is wide open.
Yeah, it seems like more of the powers for North Louisiana, the smaller schools, obviously the Homers, the Loganports, the Sterlingtons, Calvary Baptist, Oak Grove. South Louisiana's got more of your big-time
bigger schools
that have been dominating. And then I'm also kind of curious, where does that school out of the top that kind of comes out of nowhere and puts it all together like a Ponchatoula last season?
I got one, Abbeville.
I tell you, one of the more St. Charles Catholics playing Abbeville. That is an intriguing for high school football nerds like me and you.
Big time.
It's an intriguing kind of game.
What I like about Abbeville, and I don't know if you were here then. I know you've been in Louisiana a long time, but we're going back 20 plus years. Yeah. Abbeville had a guy named Brandon Mitchell that went to A&M, made All-American D lineman, and played for the Patriots before Brady started going. That's how long it was. And they had a guy named Mitchell that was a linebacker at Tennessee, made All-American. Well, long story short, Abbeville used to put out a lot of D1 players. They hit a 20-year rut. They didn't even have a 1AA signee. Their team this year, Abbeville, has 12 kids in their 22 that will sign college scholarships. Yeah. Their quarterback, Jazin Shelvin, is 6'2", 210, runs 4.5, and no one's even talking about him because we have all these quarterbacks. We got Arch Manning, we got Holstein, we got Suzette at Scotlandville. We can go on and on. But you got this guy at Abbeville not even being mentioned, and he's a 3-year starter. Yeah. And get this, all their starters are 4 or 3-year starters back. Yeah. And they lost a close game to St. Martinville last year that would have put them in the semis. Yeah. But that's my team. That's my sleeper, like Cinderella team.
They could be, maybe so. And that would be, I was talking about Westgate earlier in the show about how the community really got behind that team. Boy, if Abbeville really can get something going, they love their football in Abbeville.
And even Vermilion Catholic fans will go support them.
For sure.
And I don't want to leave out Ouachita Christian up north as a small school. Yeah. That's real good.
Oh, yeah, forgot about, exactly.
And then Homer, Richie Casey's done a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Their first title.
Yeah. And then you can't also Union Parish.
Man, Joe Spatafora, that guy is a great coach.
If you consider 3A small. Yeah. I think I consider it.
Compared to Texas schools, huh? Yeah. Did you hear DeSoto beat St. Aug about 6 touchdowns in the Jamboree?
Who's that?
DeSoto, Texas.
Oh, really?
And St. Aug has 22 guys that will sign this coming year.
Okay.
And DeSoto, where Ed Ingram played and Jalen Mills from LSU, DeSoto has 42 seniors that might sign.
Wow.
Now, DeSoto, Texas, just for the listeners or viewers, they're not even one of the top 10 teams in Dallas. Is that crazy?
Wow.
And they took on St. Aug, I think it was like in Vegas or somewhere for a jamboree. And it was like 40-7 or 50-7. The talent in Texas is incredible.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, just the talent that comes out of there. A&M can't sign all the players.
Yeah.
Wow. We're going to take a break, come back. We've got one more segment. I want to ask Jeff what he thinks of the LSU football team. I've been to four practices. I got to stay twice for 2 hours. I felt like a kid in a candy store. Yeah. Not a 10-minute practice. You can stay 2 hours. Yeah. Thank you, Coach Kelly. I don't care. You shut it down. You were late. I went to 4 practices and stayed the whole time. It was great. We'll be back. We'll talk about LSU. I might get Jeff's thoughts on the Bears at the end. I know he likes the Bears. And see what's going to happen maybe with the Saints. I know they look good. It's just preseason. And I'm glad Winston looks good. Right. Let's see what happens. We'll be back and talk about them at the end. We'll be back.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life. Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom-tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage.
Welcome back. You're watching the Sports Scouting Report podcast. I'm your host, Lee Burkeen. Our guest, Jeff Palermo, Louisiana Network, also associated, same company, Tiger Rag Magazine, Jim Inkster, Jennifer Marsh do a great job. All those guys, William Weathers, we talked about him earlier. Get the preview magazine for Tiger Rag. We do trade with them. We trade ads in each preview magazine. And go to our website, lafootballmagazine.com, to get our preview magazine for all the high schools and colleges. Jeff, LSU, I've been to a few practices. I think there's more talent there than what people think. They're not ranked. First time in a long time. I love Kelly. He reminds me of Saban. I love the practices. They're organized. The team looks more fit. They look stronger. They look like an Alabama team. You know, it looks like they came out of a lab, like people say. But
Yeah.
I'm going, and it's not my heart. I'm going 10-2.
Wow.
The Tigers.
10-2. I don't know if I can make that jump. I still have questions about the offensive line. I got to see Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier when the bullets are really flying. I don't know how much depth there is with this team. That's another concern that I have. You get a few injuries.
Running back is
running back could be a concern. But you're right. I mean, they have a lot of talent. But I still think there is an adjustment period here. I mean, you're not only talking about a new coaching staff. I mean, like nearly everybody in that football ops building is brand new. So many new players. You know, is the chemistry there? Is there? I mean, going 8-4 to me would still be a successful season, considering where you go back to that game in the Texas Bowl and what they threw out on the field that night.
Yeah.
So, 10 wins. I mean, I think it's possible.
Yeah,
It's possible where you could say maybe their 2 losses are to Alabama and they lose to somebody else there. Yeah, that's possible. But I think there's going to be some bumps in the road. But it is refreshing to see just kind of the veteran coaches and the organization that's now there.
Mine's based on a great defense, the best defense they've had. They actually have a second unit defense, finally a second unit with depth. The quarterback situation, I think both guys will play all year. I think Jaden will start first snaps. Nuss hits the windows, though. In practice, Jeff, you put him on the 20 and they do the 20-yard line drills, the tight, over the throw shoulders and also over the middle. He was 8 for 8, 9 for 9 on every drill I ever saw. Jaden runs a 4.4 in the 40. So there's a way to utilize him on third down, I think, against Alabama or Florida. I don't think there's a lot of good coaches in the SEC outside of Saban and Heupel. I'm a big Heupel fan with Tennessee. And then Kelly. And I think Kelly's going to outcoach Kiffin, and I think he's going to outcoach a lot of these guys. Mississippi State has kind of a Mickey Mouse offense. They don't like to run. And no offense to Leach, I love him, but he's one-dimensional. But I just think even Jimbo Fisher's overrated as a coach. And you got a Kelly that comes in and he knows the game. He's smart.
Yeah.
He's got all the stuff that Saban has, but he was at Notre Dame where he couldn't win one.
Right.
So that's my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I can see it.
Plus 3 great receivers, and I like the O-line.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we'll see. I just think it's a lot to ask for them to – and they might be able to do it. I mean, Mel Tucker took a program that was fledgling and turned it around pretty quick, and there's a chance maybe Brian Kelly can do that.
I'm against the portal, but then again at the same time, I fight that because look at Baker Mayfield. He transferred to Oklahoma, and then that enabled them to be in 2 or 3 playoff games, right? And then Tua, is there, but Hurts goes to Oklahoma. They go to a playoff game. He's in the portal. You get Burrow, right? He comes from Ohio State. LSU wins a championship. And I think the transfers are phenomenal. I think LSU hit a home run with all their transfers, but a lot of them are from Louisiana.
Yeah.
A lot of them are from here, so it was more easy transition. And there's no duds in it. Like going to practice, they're all legit. You know how someone doesn't usually do a good job and they don't fit? All these guys are looking good to me. Anyway, I've been going to practice and seeing what I like and what don't like. The Bears tend to show. I know you're Chicago native. Justin Fields, year 2. We've all seen this quarterback progression. Either year 2 they get better or they don't.
I'm a big Justin Fields believer. I think he's got Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, comes from Green Bay. I think they run a real offense now. But there's not much talent around him. Darnell Mooney, the kid from Tulane, he's been a really good player, 80 catches, over 1,000 yards last season. And David Montgomery is a good running back, but it's going to take a while. They got to get some stud receivers there. That's kind of the game. I mean, I think the Bengals and some of these other teams have shown it. You get a great quarterback, you get some stud wide receivers for the quarterback to throw the football to, you can win a lot of games in the NFL.
And the only bad team still in the NFC is Detroit. Everybody else is good. Even Philly's good down. I mean, everybody's good. Even Washington can give you a game, right?
Wow.
Even they can give. But the Jets, what's up with the Jets? If there's a franchise that just went south.
They've been south for a long time.
Remember the Gastineau days, Joe Klecko?
Yeah.
Remember Richard Todd?
Oh, yeah. Those were great days.
I mean, they had some great players, Johnny Hector and Gaston Green. And now the Jets are like, that's why Jamal Adams left.
Yeah, right.
Now he's a Seahawk, but I hope Detroit has a good year. And then Stafford leaves and wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, good for him. Good guy.
Spent many years. Anything you want to promote before we go?
Well, Tiger Rag Radio on Tuesday nights. You can hear it on Talk 107.3, 6 to 8. And then, of course, YURView Friday nights, Cox Cable Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. There's also other ways you're able to watch the games as well. So you can stream them, get in the Cox app. Even if you're not a Cox customer, I believe you can still pay to get the app and watch the game. So looking forward to another great season.
If you're a viewer for YURView, tell them, is there a pregame at 6:30?
No 6:30. Just
so it's 7
o'clock. Right at 7.
So right at 7, have your channel on, because Jeff will start talking about the pregame and the matchup.
Yeah,
They'll put their pictures up and their stats and who's playing who, and they might get the mascot on the sidelines. Who's going to be the reporter? Do you have the reporter?
Kate Adams is back with us again.
And so
it's me and Jason DeQuire in the booth.
Like Jason. Jason ran into Jason the other day.
Yeah, how
eating
about
some food.
Yeah, he's always eating food. That's not a surprise.
Good luck to you, Jeff.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Again, go get Tiger Rag Magazine preview. Get our preview. Go to our website, lafootballmagazine.com. And I know Tiger Rag has a couple of hundred stores. They put the magazine out. City Cafe on O'Neill Lane is one of them. We'll see everybody really soon. Check us out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We need those subscriptions to grow that. We'll be right. We'll see you real soon.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Burkeen.